It is bracket time. March Madness is here once again, and we are here to break down each and every single region, give you our Final Four picks. We'll also throw in some of our favorite bets to place during the next couple of weeks. This is Always Talking Ball. Tyler Noe, Lance Barton. Traditionally, we are a college football podcast, but this is our podcast. We'll do whatever we want to. We're talking March Madness this week because it is that time of year. It's one of the best times of year. We're going to jump right into the regions here, but before we get to that, if you guys are interested in joining a bracket challenge or a knockout/survivor pool, head over to X or Instagram. Always Talking Ball, always talk ball on X. DM us. Let us know you're interested. We will let you know how to join. Also, make sure you check out our latest gear from homefieldapparel.com. Scan that QR code in the top right corner if you're watching on YouTube. And when you get to checkout, type in promo code ATB15 for 15% off your first order. They have all kinds of basketball gear to get you ready for March Madness. Also, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and share with your friends. All right, so we can match up on 7 of the 8 Elite Eight teams.
Yep.
So we're always in sync here on ATB. Auburn, Michigan State. I'm going to take Auburn to win that game. I have been high on Auburn since late December. Put a futures bet out on them to win it all. Obviously, they sputtered, like you said, 3 of the last 4, but I think they turn it on. I think they've just them in Florida. I mean, they're right up there with Florida, one of the most well-rounded teams. Janai Broom, obviously contender for Player of the Year. I think Auburn gets back to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2019. And then on the other side, I've got, I hate to say it, man, just got Duke over Alabama. And this is where, I mentioned it to you the other night. The fact that Alabama, is not a 1 seed this year is a huge disappointment for the guys that they had coming back and the dudes they had coming in. And the fact that I mean, if they make it to the Final Four, credit, but to not get back to the Final Four with all the hype and everything, like Oates said the other day, right? Did he not? He was on record saying, like, we got to get to the Final Four. Like, that's it. That's if we don't get to the Final Four, the season's a disappointment. So he's on that train too. So I got Auburn and Duke going to the Final Four in the top half of the bracket.
Yeah, maybe I'm a horrible fan for saying this, man, but being an Alabama basketball fan, I do agree that the talent and all of that after they made the Final Four last year, putting the team that they put together this year, I understand it. I love that, my coach is saying that like we want to. I'm glad he is saying that. I want him to say that. I want the team to feel that way. As a fan, I'm telling you, man, I'm just thrilled if we make as an Alabama basketball fan, I'm just happy to be in a Sweet 16, and after that, anything's gravy. But this team, yeah, I agree. It is a little bit of a disappointment what they've done this year. Incredible that Nate Oates has done such a great job at Alabama that being a 2 seed is now considered a disappointment. But I understand why you'd say that. This is not making excuses. It's just a fact. Losing Latrell Wrightsell like they did, their best guard, perimeter defender, one of their leaders, was one of the, again, huge player for them down the stretch last year in that Final Four run. And then incoming freshman, 5-star, McDonald's All-American, Darian Reed, basically hasn't played almost the entire year. He's probably their second or third best defender. So a lot of the defensive issues that a lot of people have been talking about, when you lose 2 of your 3 best defenders, that doesn't help. But, hey, new season, new tournament. If Alabama's going to make a run, Grant Nelson has to be a major factor in this. Not knowing the full health of him right now, I would imagine if they make it to the Sweet 16, he's obviously going to be significantly healthier 2 weeks. That's another, over 2 weeks from now, getting to that point. But yeah, I going up here to the other side of the bracket, I do have Auburn and Michigan State with you. As an Alabama fan, I do have Auburn also in the Final Four. I think they've got the goods. I think Bruce Pearl is one of the best coaches in the country. This is another story for another day, but the turnaround job that he did at one of the worst programs in all of power conference of all of basketball was Auburn when he took it over. And now he has them as good as they are. It's just incredible.
Yep.
But I've got Auburn in the Final Four, beating Michigan State and Tom Izzo. I've got Florida in the Final Four, playing Auburn in that matchup. So, hey, that's 2 SEC teams there. I've got Houston in the Final Four, beating Kentucky in the Elite Eight. So I've got Houston on that side. I mean, it's our podcast, bro. Roll Tide, baby. Let's go. I got Bama in the Final Four taking down Duke. Why not us, Tyler?
Yeah,
Why
well,
not
yeah,
us?
yeah. Everyone predicted you to go 7-5, right, Kirby?
I've got
Um,
Bama in the Final Four. I got Alabama, Auburn, Houston, and Florida. 3 of the 4 teams are SEC teams, Tyler.
yeah, I've got Auburn and Duke. Like I mentioned, I got Auburn playing Florida. I got Florida beating Texas Tech. And I've got Tennessee beating Houston. I got Rick Barnes getting to the Final Four. I've got 3 SEC teams in the Final
Look
Four
at
as
you,
well.
SEC Tyler. Okay, I see you. I see you.
It just means more, man. It just means more. All right, so Auburn versus Florida on the left side. We both got that matchup, right? So rematch of the game that took place in Neville Arena, like you said, with Florida embarrassing Auburn on their home court, winning by 9. I think Auburn gets revenge. I do.
Okay.
This is where, man, that will be a good game to watch. And it's as tough as it is to hop off the Florida train. Part of me too also doesn't want to pick Florida because everyone's picking them. So, going up against the number 1 overall seed, be a tight spread. But I've got Auburn beating Florida. On the other side, I got Duke and Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I got Duke coming out on top of that one. So I got Auburn Duke. Again, rematch of Cameron Indoor Stadium this year.
It was a hell of a game.
Yep. And to win it all, to cut down the nets, I've got John Shire and the Duke Blue Devils. I hate even saying that. I can hardly laugh. I can't even say it without
You just
laughing.
laughed as you said it.
Shire. I know, man. Like you got the best player in the country, Cooper
Yep.
Flag, when he's healthy. I'm assuming he's like you talking about with Nelson and some of these other guys. Like I'm just kind of assuming here he's going to be back to full strength by the Sweet 16. They've got a very fortunate path. I mean, Mississippi State is going to be the weakest opponent for a 1 seed in the second round out of all those UConns.
Or with Baylor, either way.
Yeah. Or Baylor, yeah. Oregon, I mean, they're tough, but they've got their weaknesses.
Yeah.
Alabama will be tough. That'll be a heck of a game. But I just think I think John Shire gets it done, man. Cooper Flag behind him, like the way they built that team, securing that guy, Cooper Flag, and then building the team around him with Sion James and getting Tyrese Proctor back, Malawach down low. I mean, I just think they got all the goods, man. So I think they get it. I think they make it 2-0 against Auburn this year and get it done.
Nice, man. Like I said, I've got Auburn playing Florida on one side, and I've got Alabama playing Houston on the other side in the Final Four. The thing with Florida, man, I know they're becoming a trendy pick, but like we just talked about earlier, I literally told you going into the Auburn game over a month ago that Florida was the best team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, they've turned out to make me look good. Our boy Cole Frederick, he and I talked about a lot too of Florida. Like we thought he was the same way. He thought that Florida team was one of the best teams in the country as well, and is the best team in the country. They've showed it so far. I would be sick to my stomach if I don't. Like if I end up going against it and Florida goes on this run and ends up winning it all, I'd be sick to my stomach on it. So I've got Florida taking down Auburn in the Final Four, beating Auburn again, and then I've got Houston, man. I know it's going to shock you because like you're the guy that normally is on the Houston train and backs Houston more than I do.
You don't want Alabama to play Florida for a third time.
I really don't, man. I don't. I'm tired.
Just lose to Houston. I'm good with that.
I am tired of getting my Alabama fan cheeks clapped by Florida. So yeah, I think Houston and Kelvin Sampson and takes down Bama in the Final Four.
In Florida would be a heck of a match. Like just contrast, like to see if Houston could slow down, make that game super physical, kind of like Tennessee decided to try to do. But again, Florida put up 86 on them.
Yeah, I would love to see Miles Suzon and LJ Cryer and Manuel Clark and that bunch Manuel Sharp and that bunch show up and how they would play against the guards trio for Florida. But I've got Florida cutting down the nets, man. I think again they're the best team in the country. Whether they go through this tournament and prove it, that's the beauty of this tournament, man. There's anybody can go on a run, but going into this tournament, I fully believe that Florida is the best team in the country. They do not have any weaknesses. So I think that Todd Golden and the Florida Gators take down Kelvin Sampson and the Houston Cougars in the national championship game, and Florida cuts down the nets.